You know what? There's only one thing better than bass fishing, and that's smallmouth bass fishing on Lake Erie. I'm Jim Hanley, the host of Northeast Outdoors, but now I'm the host of Lake Erie Smallmouth Bass Tactics. It's a video where you're going to learn everything you ever wanted to know about fishing for smallmouth bass on Lake Erie. Wow. All right, now we're going to get started on our Lake Erie smallmouth bass tactics. We're going to cover everything from fishing in the spring all the way through to the fall. We're going to cover things like spinnerbaits, crankbaits, stickbaits, jigs, tubes, reapers, how to use a depth finder, how to use a drift sock, all those things you've always wanted to know about fishing for bass in Lake Erie. And even though I'm fishing out of a bass boat, we're going to show you ways that you can use your regular boat and adapt it to the tactics we're using on the video. Let's start out with the spring. Spring is a real special time on Lake Erie. We're going to start out kind of in the later spring because one of the things we're going to learn later on is that early spring and late fall are the same. So we're going to save that for a little bit later on. Spring bass tactics on Lake Erie. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. Nice one. Drag. Look at that. Oh, is he going to stay on there? There's only one little hook in him. But I suppose when you're fishing them regular too, there's only one little hook in him too, huh? Okay, let's see what happens. Now the trick with the stick bait is to make sure you don't get a handful of hooks as you're doing this. So normally we try to do the belly lift, so I'm going to get down here if I can. As I get older, it gets harder to do the belly lift, but we got them. Beautiful fish. All right. There we go. Hi, folks. I'm Jim Hanley. I'm your host of Northeast Outdoors. And today I'm on Lake Erie, and I'm doing a little bit of fishing all different ways. All different types of baits I'm using to catch a couple different groups of fish, catching some pre-spawn females and males in very shallow water, and also throwing a tube in deep water when the shallow water bite gets slow. But beautiful fish. Just caught this one on a reef runner. This is a fried chicken. As it was following my spinnerbait, he didn't take my spinnerbait, so I threw the stick bait back there and jerked it and came right out and grabbed it. So great show. We're going to show you all kinds of great tips today. Goodbye. Let's watch him swim away. And there he goes. Look at that little black form down there. How cool. Stained water. Oh, look at him. There he goes. He's got it. Yeah. All right. Came after it. Missed it, came back and got it again. Oh, do I love it on a short line. Oh, baby. Woo! Oh, boy, is that fun. Holy smokes. What a nice fish. Okay. Well, that was fun. Hit it, missed it, and come back. Hit it, rip it, knock it around. That was the old cheer of my daughter's baseball team. Yeah, come here, Mr. Smallmouth. I got heavy line in here so I can just haul you in, and that's a nice fish. It's a nice spinnerbait fish, a Lake Erie spinnerbait smallmouth. Look at that. All right. Love it. He got it on the inside hook. See that? We put trailer hook on there, and he nailed it on the main hook. So here's our trailer hook back here, which we're going to show you as our tip of the day, how to rig that up. And he twisted that thing around so bad. Let's see, how many times did he get? Look at that. Twisted that around. Beautiful fish. And he's in this stained water, so he doesn't even look like a typical Lake Erie smallmouth, but he sure is. All right. Way to go. Come on, fishy. Yeah. You know, when we first got here, I was getting a lot of strikes, but I was missing them. So for our tip of the day, what I'd like to share with you is how to rig a spinnerbait so that you don't miss so many. This is a big old Colorado thumper blade, I call it. It's got an extra cup on it. It really thumps along, kind of wears your arms out too. But anyway, when I first started fishing, I think the bass were either nipping at the skirt like this or just interrupting the cadence of the blade. I was feeling them hit it. So I put a trailer hook on it. Now this is real common down south in a lot of places where spinnerbaits are fished a lot, but being on Lake Erie here, it's kind of unusual. But let me just show you the trick that I use. And you notice I have the hook facing the opposite way, so if he bites, I can get him either in the bottom of the jaw or in the top of the jaw if he gets the whole thing in there. What I do is I take a regular trailer hook. Now, a regular trailer hook has a real big eye. You can't use a regular hook. They need to be almost specifically a trailer hook. And I have some surgical tubing. Now, what I do is I can either cut a piece of the surgical tubing first, or just for demonstration purposes, I will just leave it right on here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work the eye of the hook into the surgical tubing. You can see it right there. And then I'll either use my my pliers or a pair of scissors or something, and I'm going to cut it off right here, just about the same length. Put it over the hook like this, put it in there, and the surgical tubing not only keeps it from slipping off and rattling around, but it keeps it right in line too. Works out great. Great tip for catching short, striking smallmouth bass. Feels like a nice one. They stop biting that spinnerbait and they're jumping on the reef runner. Jumping on that stick bait. There he is. He's coming up now. Oh, yes. I love it. Oh, there's another one with him, too. Ooh, if I had a partner in the boat right now, I'd just tell him to grab a tube and throw the tube down there, and he would probably catch him. Oh, this one's a good fighter. Wow, he does not want to come up. That is a nice fish. A nice one. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm going to pull him around this side of the boat so I can get at him better because my rods are in the way. That's one of our biggest ones today. There we go. Look at that. Oh, what a beautiful bass. What a beautiful bass. All right. Okay, big boy, come here. Whoa! See, they're not super aggressive because that was not quite in its mouth all the way, but that is a beautiful fish. Oh, man, look at that. Big fatty. Okay, that hook is just stuck. Get that out of the way so we're both. Look at that. Woo, baby. I love it. And you wonder why I fish for a living. And we're fishing kind of a little pattern of just big boulders. And we found a little stained water patch, and they're right in that area. A lot of fish in here. Just keep making passes through there and catch one and spook a couple and then let them settle and go back a little bit. So the nice part about fishing here on Erie this time of year is there's so many different patterns going on. I can catch them deep. I can catch them shallow like this on spinnerbaits or stick baits or tubes. And also, some of the methods that maybe many of you across the country are used to, like throwing a spinnerbait. Many people just aren't used to fishing in the type of situations that I am in 30 or 40 feet of water and being comfortable with it. Many people feel quite uncomfortable fishing that deep. So if that's the case, and you get up here for the spring fish, you can have a great time too because you can fish this spot any way you want. Hey, whack that spinnerbait. Nice fish. Oh, man, look at him go. Look at him go. Oh, yes. I love it. Tail walking all the way. Look at that. Oh, nice fish. Nice smallie. Nice one. Oh, yeah. Hit that big old thumper blade. Just on some off-color water, too. Oh, look at him. Yes, baby. Oh, what a beauty. What a beauty. Yeah. Come here, baby. Come here, baby. Oh, got him with the trailer and with the regular hook. and I'm going to be very careful here so I don't stick my thumb in two hooks. Get one out at a time. They've been short striking it so much that I needed to use that second hook, and I got them on both of them. Well, there's a little one that was following the spinnerbait, and they're not very big, but that's okay. There he goes. Come here, big boy. Well, little boy, we'll just haul you up. A little trick that I used to use when I was largemouth fishing is when you're fishing a spinnerbait or buzzbait or anything like that, is to have a follow-up bait. Now, he followed the spinnerbait. He's not very big. He's not even legal with Lake Erie's early bass season. We'll toss him back. But when they follow a bait in and they don't hit it, use a backup bait, something to throw to them that'll fall a little slower or has a completely different motion or action than the bait you're using. So I just threw my little tube bait at him, and he scarfed it up. Yep. This is what we were catching him in deeper water with, too. So have a backup bait, too. You can catch a couple extra fish. Works good.
Hey, catching smallmouth bass in shallow water in the spring on Lake Erie, nothing better. Cranking that spinnerbait along, they try and kill it. They'll almost rip that rod out of your hand, and you'll find out if you have not caught a 4 or 5 pound smallmouth bass on a spinnerbait in Lake Erie, it's something you will never forget, because literally you'll have to hang onto that rod with 2 hands. And catch them on the stick bait. Great follow-up. There's always a lot of fish around that might not hit the spinnerbait, but they'll hit that stick bait. And you notice that I threw a tube, too, for a couple that might, be lagging along. You can always catch another one. And if you're fishing with 2 people, something also that's interesting is if your buddy has one on a spinnerbait and he's bringing in, or a stick bait, if he throws a tube in that area, there'll generally be 3 or 4 others following it, and you can catch that other one on a tube, throwing it along. It's called a follow-up bait. So it's a real good tactic. Let's look at the screen real quick. Cover some of the patterns and styles of stick baits. Some of these are from Reef Runner. Some of them are from Bomber. And you can see the different body styles. Try a few different ones. One of the things that's key, and I mean this is key, is having the belly red. Having red hooks is a great idea too, but having the belly of that bait with red will make all the difference in the world. I have outfished people 5-1 on the same bait with the same action, but having a red belly on my bait. So really, really, that's key. Now, let's look at the spinner baits. Spinner baits, we want to have some in willow leaf. We want to have some in Colorado. We want to have some in Indiana. We look at the blade style and shape, and you can see the difference right there. Have some in gold, have some in silver, some in copper. Just change them up, being able to work those along. Having your cadence, when you have that spinnerbait on, reeling it in at a different cadence. Slow, fast, jerk it a little bit. Just depends. They will tell you what you want. Sometimes you'll throw that spinnerbait out there, and you'll start cranking it in, and you'll want to make another cast, so you start reeling real fast, you'll catch a fish. So those are things to pay attention to. Now let's look at the tubes or some of the follow-up baits. Tubes will always